Wednesday afternoon, I get stupid. It's all right. That's supposed to be on Do Not Disturb, but unfortunately, Snapchat breaks through Do Not Disturb.
Does it?
So,
Who owns Snapchat these days?
I don't know. Is it?
Just wondered.
Is it one of the Metas?
I was just wondering if it was one of the which megalomaniac it was.
Oh, yeah, it'll be.
Who could break through the Do Not Disturb to make sure you use their app?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's really, really frustrating. I need to sort that out. I don't know how to do that because it'll just break through. So it's on Do Not Disturb, but it just breaks through.
Oh, okay.
So apologies for that.
I don't have Snapchat.
No, me neither.
I'll go back to where I was.
Yeah.
Which was that's it.
Yeah.
So 3:30 Tuesday, 3:30 Monday afternoon. That's it. I'm going home. Not needed on Tuesday. We're told that at the time. Keep an eye out on your phones. Tuesday afternoon comes round. 2:30. Get a message to say you're not required on Wednesday. 2:45. Message comes through to say you are required on Wednesday at 2:00. So. Sorry. Right, I'm recording, and Snapchat breaks through Do Not Disturb.
Come pick me up.
All right, do you want to say hi to the listeners? Good. Right, let's see you soon.
Millions of them. The millions.
Apologies again. Sorry.
Okay.
Right. So.
More. Go.
So here it is. It's the podcast nobody asked for. Three guys in a kitchen, drinking coffee and having a chat.
At the end of the last episode, when Stu and Alex were with us, I said that our next recording is going to be remotely.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you're in Spain.
Yes.
So I thought, just for a minute, okay, we won't keep this up, but just for a minute, right, can we just pretend that you're in Spain?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll just sort of...
I need all the traffic sound in the background.
That's fine, I'll add that in. Yeah, I'll add that in. So, like, I'll play some nice Spanish music. Cue the Spanish music. And, we'll just sort of pretend that you are there.
Yeah. Okay. I can. So, well, I don't know if I can pretend, but I can tell you a little bit about my situation. A little bit there. So
I don't think it would work.
No, it wouldn't work. You can still because this is related to the Spanish thing. You can, if you like, put the Spanish thing in it. That's fine.
Yeah.
So just a bit of background. You know that I've been going to this particular place in Spain for 27 years now.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want to tell you where it is because it's a secret.
It's fair.
But it's not.
You don't want to be inundated by your fans whilst you're over there.
So the funny thing is that this place is the hotel that we've been going to is amazing. It is amazing. You can see the pictures up there. Look.
Yeah.
You can see the view. That view out to sea, out to that lighthouse, never ever changes because they can't build in front of it. Right. And you walk down those steps.
Is that because of the cliffs, or just generally they can't?
You just can't because the cliffs. I mean, the hotel's actually on the cliff,
right?
So you can't build that beyond it.
Yeah.
And so those steps that you can see, ones they do, just go down to the beach, and it's just amazing. And you can see the ground, lots of grass and lots of benches and stuff like that. But it's kind of not a concrete-y type pool area and all that kind of stuff, right? It's got good green stuff around it. So I've been going there for 27 years. It's like home from home.
And that's every year?
Yeah, just in the summer, because that's, when Anne used to finish school,
summer holidays.
Yeah, she'd finish kind of about the third week in July, and she'd want to go away literally the next day, and the boys grew up there from a very young age. Aidan's 1 when he first started going there, so he's grown up there.
Yeah.
And so it's been it's an amazing kind of home away from home. And so as a result of that, we know all the staff, and these people have been, working there for decades. I've known them for 25 years.
Yeah.
And so they're just like friends. So when I go there, one of the things I used to say to the guys is that, look, I've been coming here for so long now, right, that I feel that a small part of this hotel is actually mine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've paid so much money, and small part. So in the reception area, there's a pillar, right, that holds up the rest of the building.
Yeah.
And so I go over to the pillar and I say, I think this is mine. This pillar is mine.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And they'll say, well, okay, they kind of, humour me,
Yeah.
right? Okay, well, we'll put a plaque on it. I said, no, you don't need to put a plaque on it. I know this is mine, right? So I'll go over it. Every time I go in there now, I hug it and I kiss it.
Okay.
So this is mine.
Interesting for the other guests to watch you as you're doing that. Yeah.
So as you know, I don't go to the hotel anymore. I've had different accommodation and I go there now. But I also still carry on and go to the hotel on a regular basis, because when I'm on my own there, if I feel during the day I've not really seen anybody or spoken to anybody, I go to the hotel and I just go and meet all the staff.
Yeah.
Occasionally there's guests there that I've known over the years. So it's really, really nice. So this time around, I went to the hotel, and in reception, behind the desk, there's Anna, there's Jose, and Rafa, right? And they're all reception people. So we were having a bit of a chat, and I announced that. I said, I'm doing a podcast.
Okay.
And they said, oh, wow, that's amazing. So what's it about? So I started with the whole thing about the incidence of male suicide in the UK, and they'll say, yeah, it's the same here. And I'll say, well, it's a lot of the times the difficulties are that men don't really talk about their feelings and what they're worried about, and seek help or whatever. And they say, yeah, it's the same here. It's exactly the same here. And so then I do that emotional fitness thing.
Yeah, the emotional fitness plan.
What makes you feel good? What makes you, and then we start talking about. So Anna, so if you felt that you wanted to offload, you wanted to talk to somebody, who would you go to? And she'll tell me who she would go to. Then I say to Jose, well, who'd you go to? Rafa, who'd you go to? So we're doing all this, right? Yeah. And it's they're really getting into it. Yeah, send it to us. We'd like to. I said, well, I will send it to you, but because it's us in the UK culturally, and some of the conversations might not fully kind of relate to you, but nevertheless I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
So of course then they say, so what's this podcast called?
Okay, cultural misappropriation.
And I have this moment of just blankness. and then I have to say, tres amigos. And they just crease over now. Because there's three of them there behind the counter, right? So the other thing that happens is that clearly there's a whole thing about the language and stuff like that, and they like bantering with me because most of the people in the hotel are either Spanish or German.
Okay.
So they don't get a chance to practice their English very much, right? So I kind of, I have this banter with them and stuff, but I get things wrong, and sometimes they kill themselves laughing, and I'm thinking, why are you laughing at what I'm saying? So there's a restaurant in the town called La Cachito, right? La Cachito means something small, so it's probably related to tapas and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but every time I mention this restaurant to them, I call it Conchita. Right? I say it's a Conchita, La Conchita, and they crease over laughing.
That's something different.
That's because a woman, isn't it?
They crease over laughing, and I say, "What are you laughing for?" Well, they say, "Well, just Google Conchita and see what it says." So I Google Conchita, and it says, "It's a snail." I said, well, that's all right, isn't it? It's a snail.
Something small?
They said, no, but it also means something else.
Oh.
There's something to do with the female body part.
Okay.
So now I say it just to get them laughing.
Yeah, like that.
Anyway, so that was quite good. One of the things I do when I'm there is, you know, they always say that the route to a person's heart is through their stomach.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things I've done this visit and the previous visit is that I have a signature dish that I gear up for, create while I'm there, right, and I share it with people that I've got to know over time, and it'll be either I'd invite somebody to come and eat with me, right, or I'd share it by packing it into boxes and taking it to places.
Yeah.
So this time round, my signature dish was prawn lasagna, right? Which I've spoken to you about.
You have, yeah.
I can see you getting excited now.
I am actually. I'm. Unless you're about to explain, I'm intrigued as to. So I spoke to my mum and dad last week about this, about a prawn lasagna, and we were trying to get around in our heads, right? Because my dad just went. So what is it? Like prawns, layer of pasta, prawns. Layer of pasta.
Don't have to be dead.
Cheese sauce. We were trying to work out how do you substitute, because prawns and mince, very different consistency, very different.
Okay, so without going that into too much, and what you can do if you like, I'm happy for you to attach the recipe to this podcast if you like, right? Because it's interesting enough.
Yeah.
But without getting into too much, you make a ragu just like you make a ragu for lasagna with beef or whatever.
Yeah.
But in this case, you chop up the prawns very finely.
Okay.
So it's literally like a mince.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And that's what you use to make the ragu, and it becomes that.
But you would use? Do you use? Because I'm now trying to get in my head like because of the strength of flavour of prawns, as opposed to the strength of flavour of beef.
Yeah.
Surely you're using less prawns. You're not going to use 500 grams of prawns as opposed to 500 grams of beef, are you? Because it would taste, or does it not overpower the taste?
I use a kilo because I'm making a big lasagna. I use a kilo.
I'm just being hypothetical in terms of.
But the difference in this is that it's actually made from by using habanero chili.
Okay.
Right, so you know it's a heat. It's the heat in there,
and you're toning down the fishy prawny taste.
Yeah, prawns don't taste that strong.
No, okay,
not that strong at all.
No,
no. So that's fine. So this time around, this is my dish, right? And I'll make it a few times. And in this case, the lady across the road who owns a fresh pasta shop, I've got to know her. And so I said, look, I'm going to make this lasagna. Can you do me some fresh pasta sheets? Absolutely. When do you want them? So Wednesday, I'll have them on Wednesday. Then she'll say, I said, well, what size are they? What's the size of the pasta sheets? She said, well, they're 15 centimetres wide. And she said, when you get back, measure your tray and I'll cut them accordingly. Right.
Wow. Like it, custom made, bespoke pasta sheets.
So I'm making these pasta sheets. She's made the pasta sheets, and then the habanero chili. I could only get fresh ones, and the guy in the restaurant down the road says, "That's fine. I'll dehydrate them for you so that they're dry, which is what I need for the recipe."
Okay.
So over 48 hours, he dehydrates them for me, and I make them. This is brilliant.
I like this.
This is how I kind of get into people's kind of,
this could be a TV show. It could be you going off and
so I make this lasagna. Like I say, I either invite people or I pass it on to them. So the last time I made a batch of 8 slices. 4 of them went to the people at the hotel, and they had it. And 1 slice goes to my pasta lady,
Of course, you have to.
You know, because she needs that. And then the other another two slices go to the guys in the restaurant.
Okay.
So there's a restaurant down the road called La Cachito.
Yeah.
And it's an international cuisine. So I kind of have this secret idea that if I introduce him to some dishes, he might put them on his menu.
Right.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened yet.
Oh.
Anyway, so I sent and a couple of slices to them as well. And of course I asked for feedback. So the guys in the restaurant sent me a feedback, and I'm going to play that to you.
Okay.
Right?
Go on.
Hello. I have to say that probably is the best lasagna I ever tried in my life, and my colleagues also say the same, at the end of the shift, I warm it up a little bit, and it was super good, really, really tasty, really nice. You can tell you made it with a lot of love. And I think in the point of spicy, you already add some. For us was enough, really good, very good touch. So thank you so much from me and from my team. I mean the bar team. We share between three of us. Super good. Thank you.
That's sick.
Nice.
So
Glowing reference. Glowing reference.
glowing reference, you
Very
see.
much, yeah. Yeah.
Not bad.
To be fair, I was completely against the prawn lasagna until you told me it was all mashed up. Because I was imagining a layering of
Large
prawns.
prawns.
Large prawns. And it was, and in your head it sounds grim, but that sounds better.
Okay, so we'll make that for you.
Please do.
So I'm gonna ease off this now, but I'll give you one final thing that that was quite interesting, I thought. Anyway, so because we've been going there for so many years, I mean, there's lots of memories associated with being there, right? And one afternoon I was sat at the hotel. It was quite a hot afternoon, very sunny. I was reading a book because I go and visit there, and I'll probably go and have a swim there and maybe just sit around for a bit and stuff like that. And so, as you know, I use my time there also as a period of reflection in terms of thinking about Anne and all that kind of stuff. And as you know, photographs and videos and things like that have been very useful for me to remind myself of what she was like and all that kind of stuff. But the weird kind of thing happened at the hotel when I was sat in the grounds by the pool. Is that I started kind of almost beginning to see images of her and the kids. So, for instance, she used to swim up and down the pool, and I could see her doing that, right? Because she had a style of swimming that was quite, unusual in the sense she never liked to wet her hair, so her head
No, that's just a women's thing.
It's a women thing. But I could effectively, the hotel and the surroundings was like a blank canvas.
Okay.
And I could put on there the images that were in my mind of all those days gone by. And I found that quite sad in a way, but actually also very pleasurable, because it's funny. When you repeat what you do year after year after year, you can actually see, you can actually think that years ago that's what she was doing. She was either walking around there, or she was sat over there, or reading over there, and you can just plonk your images as you want to.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I couldn't believe that experience. It was just something that, by chance, kind of, I realised, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, because you're opening up the memories. You're in that setting that is familiar enough, but you're also relaxed enough to be able to to think about those things. And it's and it's nice that you've got that consistent place that you went to, because sometimes, you know, in fact more often than not, people will tend to go to various different places, and I know you have also been to various different places, but the fact that you've got that consistent one place that is a shared not just for you and Amber, for you and the boys as well, it's nice that you've got that, because and presumably, as you said, the scenery hasn't changed. Everything is as it was over the...
No. So I'm going to stop on the Spanish bit.
That's okay.
Now that's as much as I can say. I can talk forever about it, but
it's all right. I like it.
Okay, so how about you guys? What's going on?
What have we been up to?
Busy boys?
Yeah. Well, I've been on jury duty.
Oh God, yeah. How's that going?
Oh, actually, it's this story of 60th time. That's every single customer every last week.
Have you? Have you ever thought about having earplugs?
Oh no, I go off and do some work.
That is true. But it was really eye-opening, and in a way, not just in a way, it just was infuriating. An infuriating experience. Obviously, there's a limited amount that I can sort of say in terms of detail, but the general... Although actually, to be fair, that's not technically true, because the case that I would have been chosen for is finished now anyway, so that's there's nothing I can tell you that isn't now already out in the public domain. But that's actually beside the point. It's not about the situation in terms of the case or anything like that. It's the system, it's the setup. So day one for me, I arrive 9:30 in the morning, and we get told by the jury officer, you know, this is where the toilets are, this is what happens if the fire alarm goes off, and this is what you're expected to do, and turn your mobile phones off, and this is what it will be like when you go into the courtroom. That went on for half an hour. Then you have to watch a DVD for half an hour telling you everything that she's just already told you, which is brilliant. 42 people in the room, 6 people straight away, they get sent home. They're not needed. So you're down to 36. 42 people. 42 people in the room. That's where you start off with. 6 people get sent home. And then 2 trials going on the Monday morning. So you split into trial number 1, trial number 2, chosen completely at random. Okay, so I was on trial number 2. Trial number 1, usher comes down, takes 18 people upstairs. We're told, those of us on trial number 2, that the judge is running late. So, great. So half an hour passes by, so it's now 11:10, something like that. 6 people out of the 18 now come downstairs. They get sent home because they've chosen the 12 for the jury. So we're still sitting there. 1 o'clock rolls round. We're not going to be in, so we get sent for lunch. So off we go.
What's lunch?
Oh, you're out. You walk out of the courtroom, and then you go and get.
They don't give you lunch.
No, they give you £5.27 to buy your lunch.
Oh, 27. Why £5.27?
I have no idea.
Okay, you all get £5.27.
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been some algorithm or
somebody worked it out,
something.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, they got it wrong, because my jacket potato and bottle of Fanta was £6.20.
Okay.
So I'm already a quid out of pocket.
Yeah. Sorry, I just.
No, but it's weird.
I felt that needed clarifying.
It is weird that it's £5.27. So I know somebody somewhere worked that out.
Matt, any ideas?
Average of all up and down the country.
Oh, okay.
Actually, he's probably right.
I mean, you'd have thought they'd round it up or down, don't you?
Not for the penny pinchers.
Not for the penny pinchers, which I will get on to.
Which, to be fair, there's probably a lot of them in court because there's so much they can't narrow it down to.
Yeah.
There's costs and there's costs.
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't think you can slim the cost of a courtroom very easily.
No.
I suppose somebody somewhere has gone, here's the budget, this is what it costs, and that's what it works out to. Yeah. I'm guessing.
Yeah, fair enough.
There was, quite interestingly, Matt, you'd have been right in there. There was a young lady sat opposite me. That was my amusement for the morning.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm getting married.
No, but you would have known. No, I didn't mean that. You'd have enjoyed watching them.
Yeah, that sounds creepy, bro.
No.
only if that's the way that you view things. But
it was just wonderfully amusing that this guy, who was a similar age to her, I mean, she was probably mid-20s and he was also probably mid-20s, and he spent the entire morning hitting on her, and it was quite a quiet room, some people were reading books, some people on their laptop, and I heard him at some point sort of going, I had maybe five guys for lunch. I might get 5 guys for lunch, and he was sort of, do you fancy getting some lunch? And whilst I was sitting on the bench eating my jack and potato, I saw her walk by, so he obviously didn't succeed in that.
She just didn't fancy 5 guys.
Maybe not,
Well, no, she didn't fancy the 6th guy.
Yeah, that's it.
What is 5 guys anyway?
It's a burger place. It's not very good.
No.
Just burgers. If you like burgers, you'll go again on. I don't.
They're very good burgers. They're very good burgers.
Okay.
Very, very good burgers.
They're just burgers.
Very expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
More than £5.27, obviously.
You're talking burger and fries. I think now, is it not knocking on to like 11 quid or something?
I don't know. I don't go. For the simple reason, it's pointless for me.
It's a lot. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
It's worth a try.
Yeah, I will one day.
No, you won't.
You're not missing out. You're not missing out. Don't worry.
No. Sorry.
No, so we're back in after lunch, 2 o'clock. The 12 people who've been selected for trial number 1, they go back upstairs. We're still sitting there, 2:20 now. So I've spent the morning sitting in this room watching this guy hit on this girl. 2 little old ladies, bless them, they made friends. That was quite sweet.
Yeah. I'm not sure you're allowed to call them little old ladies, because that's
usually they're small though.
They are. But
people get smaller as they get older.
Yeah.
So they were
mature ladies or older. Okay, sorry.
There were 2.
Yeah, now you're really struggling, aren't you?
2 little old ladies.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with calling them that.
Don't worry about the detail. I'm sure it's fine.
No.
Go on.
So I've spent that watching them, and then watching. We had a TV, so I got to watch a bit of Crime Watch Live, Bargain Hunt, Crime Watch 40th anniversary special, Crime Watch Bargain Hunt, as well, which was
because could they not actually just specifically choose programs that are related to what you were there for?
Well, it could watch Law and Order.
Yeah, or Judge Rinder. Rinder, is that his name?
Yeah, Judge Rinder.
Yeah.
Which, I think
Midsummer Murders.
Midsummer Murders. Midsummer Murders. Yes, I like it.
That'd be shit.
Yeah. So I'm it's mind-numbingly boring. 2:20, the jury officer goes upstairs. She says, "I'm going to find out what's going on." She comes back downstairs. She says the applicant is having second thoughts about whether or not they want to go through with this. And again, I'll touch on that again in a minute. They're going to give her another half an hour to decide. So 2:45, we finally get called up into the room. So you walk into the room, you've got the judge on the left, you've got the court clerk in front of you, you've got the prosecution barrister, the defence barrister, the court recorder, and then just to your right, which is sort of 3 feet away from where I'm standing, behind a glass window, is the defendant, in this case a translator, and then 2 security officers sat in there from G4S or whatever they're called. So basically, the court clerk tells you what's going on, and then the prosecution barrister stands up and tells you what the case is about, roughly, in some, sort of summarising, and then they pick 12 people at random, and you go and sit down in the jury box. I wasn't one of those 12, so I didn't get picked. But we still have to stand there whilst they read their affirmation. I'm going to do the job to the best of my ability, stuff like that. So you have to listen to all of them read this out. Okay,
it's the same
speech, right? 2 of them couldn't speak English.
What?
Yeah, 2 of the jurors couldn't read it, so they had to have the usher read it bit by bit so that they could repeat it. Which does make you wonder how much of the evidence they were going to be able to actually fully comprehend. You know, yeah, it just mind-boggling.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. So then you get told a little bit more detail about the case. You get told who's applying, who's defending, what witnesses are going to be brought forward. Do any of the jurors know any of these people? No, you don't. Right, okay. Jury's been selected. You 6 are now free to go. So we're around 3:30 in the afternoon now. So I've spent the entire day, 6 hours, doing nothing.
Yeah.
Tuesday, I'm not picked. And they said, right, keep an eye on your phones. You'll get a message. Tuesday afternoon comes round, 2:30, get a message to say you're not required on Wednesday. 2:45 on Wednesday, I get another message to say you are required at 2 o'clock on... Sorry, this was on the Tuesday. I got a message to say you're required at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. I'm like, okay, not required, I am required. So I phoned her up. I said, am I required for tomorrow? Because I've just got 2 different messages. She said, yes. It's okay. A judge has just come downstairs and said, we've got a case on tomorrow, last minute, and we need a jury. Right, okay, that's fine. Now, it didn't strike me until the following morning, right, that judge came downstairs at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday to say we've got a case at 2 o'clock on the Wednesday afternoon. Now, this case requires a prosecution barrister, defence barrister, the applicant, the defendant, potential security, and the witnesses. And you're telling me that you've managed to put that together at 24 hours notice? Because that can't possibly be the case, can it? That case was already on the books. Somebody just didn't do their job properly. You know, clearly. Anyway, that's besides the point. That's a minor thing. So I'm at work. We're rushing around Wednesday morning. Finish at 12 so I can go home, get showered, get changed, drive into town, park the car, walk to the courts, go through security, get into the room for 2 o'clock. 20 past 2. Applicants decided to drop the charges. Case got dropped. So, off you go. Right. You're back in on Monday. Right. So, back in on Monday. 9:30 in the morning. Waiting and waiting and waiting until I think they said we're not going to send you for lunch at 1 o'clock because we think the case may crack. They call it cracking. And rightly enough, 20 past 1, she comes in and she says, defendants decided to plead guilty. So off you go, that's it. And that's the end of your service now. There's no more trials this week.
That's it.
So there's a few things that infuriated me about this, as I'm sure you can probably tell.
I can, yeah.
Firstly, is the fact that they had to choose 42 of us. So 6. So the fact that you had to have that surplus on top of a surplus. 2 trials, 12 in one, 12 in the other, 6 additional for each one equals 36. So why did you need the other 6? To just send them home at random? I don't understand that. That's just bizarre. I don't get it. And then...
In case you know somebody.
Yeah, but you've already got 36.
Yeah, but it's still in case you know some people.
Yeah, but they've already been sent home before the trials have even started.
Still.
Let's face it, with that many people, there's bound to be somebody that knows somebody.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just extras for extras.
Well, I want to know, on the Monday, she came into the room, took a young lady out of the room, the juror out of the room, and then came back in and said, we've had to call somebody else in at last minute because she knew people that were involved in both of the trials through her work. So I don't know what she did for a job.
Yeah.
But she knew. So
okay.
So yeah, I understand that to an extent. But all I'm saying is that you've got a group of 42 people, right? Mm-hmm. You need 36 for the 2 trials. Before you've even chosen anyone, you've sent 6 people home. So what if at that point, after that, you've got people that know people? Surely you should wait until before you send them home. Because that means they were already surplus to begin with. Yeah. Okay. The next thing that annoys me, right, is the money that this costs. So your average 4-day trial costs between £20,000 and £30,000.
Who told you that?
The jury officer. Okay,
An average, what? How many days?
a 4-day trial.
4-day trial costs about 30 grand.
Yeah, and you can understand why.
Well, yeah, not from what you've explained.
42 people in that room.
Yeah.
Our daily allowance, our food allowance, and our potential travel costs, just that day alone, £3,500. That
For
would
the
cost
36 people.
for the 36 people that were there all day. Yeah.
There's something wrong there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Particularly when, we know that the whole kind of justice system is creaking.
Yeah.
You've got, was it something like 68,000 cases that are still not being, worked on or whatever, because there's this big backlog.
My case, the case that I was looking at was 3 years old. The one that I didn't get, 3 years old.
You're just confirming what we know already, but in a very graphic way. Really.
And I think, if you look at all of those costs, the jury officer, the ushers, and as I've gone through the barristers and the translators, the security guards, the 3 security blokes that are on the front door, how much that costs. How much does this cost, right? So, by default, you read an affirmation when you're being sworn in as a jury officer. She says, if you want to, I can get you if you'd rather, I can get you a holy book that you can swear on, right? She says, I've got 102 different holy books in my office. 102 different holy books, right?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Right, yes. But, right. Now, okay, I've gotten down to the Bible, the Quran. Help me out.
Guru Granth Sahib.
Anyone else? What's the Jewish one?
Torah.
What else we got? We're struggling now.
Bhagavad Gita,
You've got a few major ones.
Yeah.
Surely, if you're outside of the major religion and you want to swear on a holy book, bring it from home.
Yeah, sure. Could you not swear on a tablet?
I don't know if that's possible, but maybe.
No, I mean an iPad.
An iPad, yeah.
Yeah.
Still got text on it.
And it is a tablet.
And it is a tablet. Like Moses. Can you just download a Bible app? Does that count?
Why not?
Does that count? Maybe it counts.
Well, I think religion should move with time.
It's absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're all very busy people.
Yeah,
we can't carry around these big tombs forever, can we?
Absolutely.
It has
I like
to be.
the tombs.
Yeah, I know, but
I like the tombs. I don't mind the fact it's got 102 of them in there. That's quite nice as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but
it's costly, isn't it?
It's not really. It's a one-off cost, isn't it? She's got 102. She's not going to add 60 more, is she, over next week?
How many courtrooms are there in the world, in the country?
Yeah, but it's already a cost that's already happened.
Yeah, but okay, so let's not buy any more new editions.
Well, then there you go then. So, yeah, but that's it. I mean, it's a cost that's happened, so I wouldn't cry about it.
But it is another
cost. Yeah,
it is another cost, and
it's gone. You only focus on the cost coming up.
That cost has gone. I accept that. Okay, but here's what really another thing that it's all makes me quite mad.
Yeah,
I've got a friend who's a dog handler in Birmingham, and when I told him I'd been on jury service, he says, I feel your pain. I've been in court all day last week and I wasn't needed. You're calling police officers
off of the street
to be a witness in a case that happened 3 years ago. When they made the arrest at the time, they would have made a written statement. They possibly may have also been wearing body cams, right? And now 3 years later, you're taking 2 police officers off of the street to make them stand and wait in a courtroom to essentially just establish what they've already written down.
Yeah.
And to ask them questions about an incident that happened 3 years ago.
Which they won't remember.
How many countless arrests have they made in between?
No, absolutely.
That's just infuriating. And I also understand that there's an aspect of when you eventually get into the courtroom, it's a very intimidating environment.
Yeah.
The judge is sitting up high with the wig on. You've got the barristers with the wig on. The defendant is in the room.
Yeah. Not with a wig.
Not with a wig. No. Well, unless that's part
of them.
We're not ones to judge on that.
We don't want to judge drag. And stuff.
what I will say is that there's a bit of an argument on both sides here. Okay, so it's a very intimidating environment. Right? Could we tone that down in order to make it a bit more comfortable for the applicant? Now, I've got another friend who's a magistrate, and he said, well, the thing is that the whole setup, even in magistrates' court, where the magistrates are sat up high and it's all very sort of pomp and ceremony, he says that it also works in the favour of the prosecution and the intimidation that then puts on the defendant. So I grasp that there is a balanced argument there.
Yeah.
But for me, and as you've said, how many cases there are that are on a backlog, and how much money is spent on taking these things to Crown Court, a magistrate can only sentence for 12 months. It used to be 6 months, but because of COVID, they increased it to 12 so that they could clear that backlog. And I think that one of the for me, solution to clear the backlog, to bring the costs down, right? Let a magistrate sentence for 5 years. Because why you're asking, the purpose of a jury is to be obviously judged by your peers and for it to be a fair system, and I understand that, but magistrates have experience. They have the legal advisors that will tell them, what the guidelines are for things like this. Let them sentence for 5 years. Why are you coming? One of the trials that I could have been picked for was for a driving offence. That was the trial that brought in the remaining 14 people all day in that room for a driving offence. Is that necessary?
No. So I can see your frustration.
Yes.
And you've spent how many weeks? 2 weeks?
It was 2 weeks.
2 weeks of your valuable time, because your work and everything else had to be put on the back burner. Poor Matt here has probably had to take up the load as a result of all of that.
And it was a fun 2 weeks.
And the prior planning to it as well. To making sure
and as I understand it, that you're a self-employed person. You don't get any refund or any compensation.
We all get the same allowance.
Yeah, but the allowance isn't going to cover the fact that you've lost a day's worth of work.
It's half of minimum wage. The allowance equates to half of minimum wage.
That's not what you've met. In a day you could. It's not getting that back, and that seems unfair to me.
Yeah.
Okay, we might all want to do it as out of interest or out of duty or whatever.
Duty, I'd be happy to do it out of duty, and it's to a degree that's. The money side of it in terms of an allowance, it should be more.
Yeah.
But there could be a lot less waste in order to make it more.
Yeah.
And you could just.
Yeah.
I understand that it's nobody's fault that some defendant might just, change their mind.
Yeah.
Last minute. But again, that reiterates the point of if it's going to be less than a 2 year sentence, the 18-month sentence or a 2.5 year sentence, they don't care whether they're going guilty or not guilty. They're probably just dragging their feet just to make a mockery of the system anyway.
Yeah.
So, if you would like to, obviously, we've got the YouTube channel where you can leave a comment. And some people already do leave a comment, but we've also now got, I really should have done this before I started talking, shouldn't I, because this is just going to sound awful. We've now got a new feature where people can
have we?
We have.
Okay.
Would you believe it?
Oh my god, my surprise on my face. Carry on.
This is going to take me hours to fix this week, I tell you. We have a new feature, and that's where you can leave us a WhatsApp voice note.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
And so I'll put the number in the description.
Yeah.
The number is 07376 620 657.
Okay.
0737.
You're going to get a lot of advertising.
07376 620 657. So if anybody wants to just leave a voice note on WhatsApp, we can listen to them.
Okay.
And get
is there a kind of like a group? Does it have a name or anything?
No, there's no group. It's just a WhatsApp number. So if you save that number, go on to WhatsApp, leave a voice note for anything you might think we could discuss, an opinion you've got on anything. So that's going to encourage a little bit of
interaction,
engagement. Yeah, engagement. I know you guys are probably a little bit more against my idea on this, right? We don't have to do a lot on it, but I've really got a couple of fun things I want to do for a Halloween one. Okay. No, I know, because I hate Halloween as well.
But that's why we're not having a discussion on it, because it would be three of us agreeing for about 40 minutes on why Halloween sucks. It sucks, by the way.
Right.
Anybody listening?
But I would like to do a bit of a tongue-in-cheek, Tres Amigos take on Halloween. Nothing serious, just more.
Matt, all you got to do is to turn up, right?
No,
I mean, if it doesn't go right, it doesn't go right.
It doesn't go right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't go right. Leading on to next week's Halloween episode, I'm going to leave yourselves and the listeners with a riddle.
Oh God!
It's
go on, crack through it.
It's Batman.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane?
A man has been convicted of murder, and the judge has condemned him to hanging. This hanging, let me do my spooky voice.
Go on, hurry up then.
This hanging will happen at noon on one weekday in the following week, but the execution will be a surprise to the prisoner. He will not know the day of the hanging until the executioner knocks on his cell door at noon that day. Having reflected on his sentence, the prisoner draws the conclusion that he will escape from the hanging. Question number 1. How has he come to this conclusion? Question number 2. Is he right? Will he escape the hanging?